Hey everybody, this is Dominic, and in this video, I really quickly want to talk to you about how to make collaborative cloud-based assignments. Now, what are those? Those are essentially using cloud-based technology like Google G Suite or Office 365 to make documents or presentations that all of your students can go in and edit simultaneously. Now, what are the benefits of creating an activity like this? Well, for one thing, students are able to scaffold their knowledge off of each other. If everyone is working in one central location, it's easy for them to see each other's work and fill in knowledge gaps that may exist. Number two, it creates a sense of interdependence. A well-structured collaborative assignment is one in which contributions from one student lead into the contributions of the next student. And number three, these documents are automatically saved. And what that means is that they can easily be referenced by you in the classroom if you want to present this up on the big screen and show the work that students had done outside the class and talk about it. Or it's easy for students to reference these documents when they're reviewing for a summative assessment. So, those are three big benefits of using collaborative cloud-based assignments. Now, how do we make them? Well, I'm going to demonstrate that for you really quickly. I'm going to provide a link to a template along with this video, so you don't have to make one of these from scratch. But let me show you an example of one of these. So right now I am in one of the templates that I've created, and this is for a Google Slide gallery walk. This has been created in Google Slides. And the way it works is I've got some instructions right here at the beginning of the slide, and these instructions give students the guidance into how to get started. You can see that step one says make sure you've completed the content in this week's learning guide. Number two, locate a slide that does not have a name on it and add your name to it. Number three, paste an image to your slide that illustrates the concept you've been assigned. And number four, provide a 3 to 4 sentence explanation of why you chose your image and how it relates to your concept. Now I'm going to stop right there and show you those first few steps. Okay, so as a student, I would have clicked on this link from Canvas and been brought to this first slide. And hopefully I will have read through the learning content that I need to be successful in this assignment. So going on to step two, locate a slide that does not have a name on it. Now this presentation right here as a template has a few different example slides, but just as a quick example, if I were to go down to this slide right here, you can see it has the text type name here. So if I was a student and I found this slide, I could say, okay, my name is Dominic. And now I have essentially claimed that slide by putting my name on it. Then number three says paste an image to your slide that illustrates the concept you've been assigned. Now obviously the concept that you choose is going to be relevant to whatever topic you are teaching in your course. But really quick as an example, if I skip down to slide number 6 here, you can see an example of where Bruce has chosen a slide in which the term is activation of prior knowledge. Now, it is Bruce's job to find an image that he feels represents this term. Now, when you are dealing with a complex idea like this, activation of prior knowledge, to take that terminology and turn it into a visual requires some amount of critical thinking. Bruce has to have a rather firm understanding of what this term represents if he's going to find a visual representation of it. And if we reference Bloom's taxonomy, let me just pull this in really quickly here. If we reference Bloom's taxonomy, what this means is that Bruce needs to have a rather firm understanding of the term if he's going to find a visual representation of it, right? So Bruce goes online, he tries to find an image. Eventually he decides on this image from The Wizard of Oz, in which Dorothy is applying some oil to the Tin Man. Now, if we've got our image, but now if we look at number 4, provide a 3 to 4 sentence explanation of why you chose your image and how it relates to your concept. So it's not enough that Bruce just provides an image. He needs to give a rationale. Okay, why? Why did you choose that image? And this ties back to, let's see here. This ties back to being able to apply that term in this context. And also, he needs to defend. So up here in the evaluate part of Bloom's taxonomy, he needs to defend his choice by giving a rationale as to why he chose it. Okay, so here we can see Bruce's rationale of why he chose it. And again, this has to he has to demonstrate a firm understanding of this terminology if he's going to give an appropriate rationale. Now, we've accomplished the steps that we've talked about so far. Step 5. Step 5 is where we're going to have actually an additional assignment in Canvas. So we'll say that steps 1 through 4, those were all one assignment that had a due date. And students went in and they did it by the due date. And so at this point, this slideshow should be filled with contributions from students of images and explanations of their term and the image that they chose. So now it's a few days later, and we create another assignment in Canvas, and that's where step 5 comes in. It says, return to this presentation later this week, look at your classmates' contributions, and provide feedback to at least 2 people with 1 or more of the following questions. Prioritize contributions that don't yet have feedback. Okay, so we're going to go in and we're going to give feedback to our peers, but we're going to do so by looking at different question prompts, and we get to choose. We get to choose which question prompt we feel would be most appropriate. So our choices are, what is it about their image or explanation that resonates with you? What questions do you still have about their image or explanation? Or what did their contribution teach you about their concept that you didn't already know? Now, these questions are structured very carefully because we don't want to give prompts that are going to yield feedback such as, oh, I agree, or yeah, it was a good idea. We want to spur critical thinking. We want students to analyze. Again, referencing Bloom's taxonomy, analyze. We want them to think about what their peers have created and see, is it appropriate, or are there questions that we have about it? And that's what these questions are meant to get at. So again, going back to Bruce's contributions here, we can see in the feedback section of this slideshow, we've got some information from Tony, who says, it's a nice analogy. I've always thought of it as working a muscle, but I find your imagery even more thought-provoking and more entertaining. So obviously it's resonated with him. Natalia has some questions. She says, I'm curious, does activation of prior knowledge require interaction with an interlocutor? If not, does interaction make it resonate more than it would when alone? So we can see that the use of this slide as a collaborative document is creating a platform in which students are able to evaluate each other's work and interact and build upon each other's work. And that's really the value of using a collaborative assignment. Now, really quick, some of the mechanics of how this works. Again, this is just a slideshow. Over here on the left-hand side, I can take this template of a slide. Let me change this back to type your name here. Okay. I can take slide number 5, and I can just right-click copy, and I could do right-click paste, or I'll just hit Control-V, paste, 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 paste. And you can see now I've got a bunch of these template slides. Now, I, as the instructor, all I have to do is I can go in here, go into the term concept area, and type in a term. So that's term 1. Up here, that's term 2. And I keep going through each slide. Okay? And the result's going to be I'll have a bunch of slides. Each one has a different term on it. The rest of the work from here, as far as creating the slides and creating the content, is all going to be done by the learner. We are going to leverage learner-generated content in order to further the discussion of these topics. So I go up to the top right corner and click on Share. Right now, this document is only shared with me, but I'm going to make it public. I'm going to let my students go in and make their contributions. So I'll click on Get Shareable Link. By default, it's going to be set so that anyone at CVTC with the link can view. We want to change that because we want our students to be able to edit. So I'm going to click on anyone at CVTC can edit. Okay. Now I can copy that link, hit Done. I'll go over into Canvas and I'll paste that link into a Canvas assignment. And obviously, I'm going to give some context when I create my assignment in Canvas. I'll say, below is a link to a Google Slides presentation. You are to do the following. And you could provide those same instructions that were in slide number 2 and give them those very deliberate instructions on how they should proceed. One other benefit if we utilize a platform like Google Slides is that we can keep track of who does what. Obviously, we would hope that students will just contribute to the slide with their name on it. And then when they give their feedback, I always encourage for them to sign their name. So really quick, if we look at this slide again, we can see that there was feedback where Tony signed his name, where Natalia signed her name. I would include that in the instructions. I would say make sure to sign your name next to your feedback. But even beyond that, if we go up here to where it says all changes saved in Drive, if I click on that, it'll actually show me the history of this document, and it will show me who did what. Now, I'm the only person who's been in this document, but if you have other people in here, you can check and see who did what. It's a little cumbersome to go through, so again, I would encourage people sign their name, but it is doable. Now, once students have all given their contributions, they've all given their feedback, the assignment is essentially done. At that point, again, you can use this as a learning tool to then do some critical thinking. If you're in a face-to-face class, you could pull this up on the big screen and go through the different slides and talk about what students had to say. And then as far as a summative assessment's concerned, what I would probably do is once this assignment's completely done and all the students have made their contributions, I would go up to share again, and I would switch the permissions to anyone at CVTC can view. What that does is essentially it locks the contributions of your students in place. So at this point, now there's no worry about anyone accidentally deleting something. All they can do is view at this point. But they have now essentially created their own study guide, and they can utilize this for preparing for a summative assessment. So that's essentially how a collaborative assignment can be used with a platform like Google Slides. You can do the same type of stuff with Google Docs if you want more of a document format. Google Sheets can also accomplish this if your context utilizes spreadsheets. And if you prefer the Microsoft environment, a lot of the same functionality can also be achieved with Word Online, PowerPoint Online, and Excel Online. So this is something that I would really encourage you to explore because it really opens up new possibilities for interaction and engagement, especially in online context, but honestly, even in face-to-face context, this can be great outside of class work. So give it a try. Again, I'm going to link some templates here that you can pull from. I'm also going to link a page in Canvas that you can use to give students instructions if they have never been in G Suite before. So that should help get things off the ground and get you and your students moving in the right direction and making the most of this type of activity. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you very much for watching.